welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we are going to talk about firefighting, chili, having fun, and also learning to prevent dangers in your home. My guests are from the fire department's education section, Corey Johnson and Francis Thompson. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, I'm going to start, and I know you want to promote the festival, but we were talking a little bit before the show started, and Fran said the goal here is for you guys not to leave the station. And that seems so odd, but it is what you guys do within the fire department. How many things are preventable, and what could we do and learn to make you guys not leave the station as much as you have to now? Fran, do you want to start? Because you work with kids and a lot of easy stuff.
Yeah, our goal is to make it so that anytime either a medic unit or a fire truck leaves the station, there's already an emergency happening. And ideally, we would prevent that emergency from happening in the first place so that citizen isn't experiencing an emergency to begin with. So Corey and I's job is in the prevention department is to work to prevent those emergency calls from happening through an educational direction.
I think of knowing what to do when a fire happens as the goal, but it's really about preventing. Yeah. And a lot of things have changed in building materials and electricity, and there are things that we are much safer and better now. But what are some of the things you remind people to watch out for? And we'll start with the fire side and then get to the other part in a minute.
I would say the number one thing is unattended cooking. It's probably
don't step away.
Yeah, don't step away. Always be attentive whenever you're cooking in the kitchen, especially on the stove top. Always keep the pan handle turned away from the front of the stove, because in a rush, anybody could easily knock over something, or children can wander into the kitchen and pull something hot off the stove. Always keeping a tight-fitting lid nearby, just in case there is a small grease fire, so that they can quickly smother it out and cut off the stove, leave it there so that it doesn't...
But slide it to it. If you have an electric stove, those things stay hot for a while. Slide it over.
Yeah, or you could just cut it off as well, but be sure to cut it off. And never throw water on it, of course. But just preventative things that you would think of. You have to come up with what-if scenarios of what you would do if there were some sort of emergency situation, and what not to do as well. And
so you also work with older adults, and we all tend to think of the fire department as the fire department, but most of the calls, the vast majority of calls, are EMT calls for people who have health issues or falls or heart attacks. And a lot of that, you work with older adults too. How do you do that? I mean, there are a lot of, when you're older, you do fall more, you have other issues. What can people do to prevent?
Right, one of the number one causes of unintentional injury or in the home and death even is falls, related to falls. So you have a lot of older adults who, as they get older, their mobility changes, equilibrium's a little off maybe, different things of that nature, so that they could fracture the hips, bones, different things, and it just preventative steps are just kind of going through their home, telling them to go through their home, remove the clutter from their houses, be sure to keep rugs that are laying flat, anything like cords that could be in their walkway and causing the trip. So I'm basically giving them tips.
Right. But, install those handrails. Don't try to do more than you can do. Don't think you're being proud by not using a cane or a walker if you need one.
Right.
Okay, so that's your role 11 and a half months out of the year. But right now, you guys are busy planning for the Chili Festival, and it has a longer name. I'm going to let you. But this is a big event that people look forward to.
Yes. The 5-Alarm Festival, Chili Cookoff, kicks off every year annually. Past 2 years, unfortunately, due to inclement weather, we haven't been able to sustain it. But this year...
We heard a lot of complaints. People were very upset. But this year, once again, being the proactive department that you are.
Yes. This year we will be having it rain or shine. Saturday, October the 7th, we're going to be at Syms Middle School, which is 170 Fox Hill Road. And it's a good family fun event. You can come out, bring the whole family. We have bounce houses and slides and all sorts of fire department apparatus, and there'll be personnel out there in addition to the chili teams. And we also have some education going on as well for the children and adults as well. So
it's your intention still to be outside, but you have a backup plan. Much like we should all have a plan for how to get out of our house if there's a fire, you guys have made the backup plan, which
Correct.
is pretty smart. Mm-hmm. So I used to think this was an event for kids because, you know, when you drive past it, you do see the bounce houses, the fun, there's all kinds of activities. But it's us adults who really get to taste the chili. And that, to me, is the heart of it.
Yeah, the chili does bring a lot of people out from all over the community because people have been looking forward to it. I know the past 2 years that we've had to postpone the event, basically. Everybody has always said that, you know, wish I had it this year. I don't know why you didn't have it or whatever. So this year, I am glad that we do have the opportunity to kind of continue the annual legacy of having the Chili Festival.
So explain how the chili deal works. You have groups who come in. I'll let you tell it though.
Yes, essentially anyone can participate in the chili cook-off.
But it helps to be a group because you got to cook a lot of chili.
Right, you have to cook. How much
I
chili?
believe it's 7 gallons
Yeah.
of chili, and we've extended the date, so up through September 8th, if someone has a team and they're interested, or they could do it as an individual, and they're interested in creating 7 gallons of chili, then they can contact our office, and they're given all the information that they need to do that successfully, and they come early in the morning, and ideally it's mostly prepared on site. So before
Or you've got health department issues you've got to work through, right?
Right, and that's covered as well. There's health department meetings, and the department takes care of the health department side, or the fees associated with the health department. So really the only cost to the group or the individual is the ingredients for the chili, and then the time commitment of arriving on site and preparing for a noon start time. So the event goes from noon until 4.
And I will say, people should get there early if they want chili. You know, you sell X number of tickets, and it costs how much? How do you work the?
Well, the festival, as I said before, is Saturday, October the 7th, and it's from noon to 4 p.m. So the earlier you get there, the better, because we usually, in times past, have had a lot of people participate. So it's a good idea to definitely show up on time. But you also have the opportunity to judge the chilies. You buy a $5 ticket, and the ticket allows you to sample all of the chilies from all of the different participants of the festival.
I think in the past, the chili has run out around 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So if you're not there really at noon,
you can still bring the kids, and there's still a lot to do.
We also have food for purchase, but the event is ultimately free. Free for the bounce house, free for the
Right.
face painting, free for...
But you know, you can get a full lunch out of these little bitty chili samples because there's a lot. I mean, I don't know how many you'll end up with this year, but the year I went, and they were really different. Like for people who think they know what chili is, to come and sample, there was a venison chili, there's a vegetarian chili, there's all kinds of, you know, there's a white chili always. There's some that are real spicy, some that aren't.
Yeah, many different variations depending on, you know, the chef or the team. So it's a wonderful opportunity for people to kind of showcase their culinary skills in addition to learn about fire safety, fire prevention, and just to see the different skills that all these firefighters have, the EMTs have throughout the fire service.
One of the things that I asked a firefighter medic recently is, you guys are serving the community every day. So for you to put this giant festival on, you know, it's a lot of work. Why do you do it?
I think ultimately the goal of the 5 Alarm Festival is to, well, first of all, it kicks off the Fire Prevention Week, and so that's a good thing for the community. Also, just to remind, and I know we were talking with other wonderful people, one of the wonderful staff here, about the fact that accidents happen, whether you work for the fire department or not. And it's good to be reminded of just general safety and making a difference in your own home, which then can make a difference to the community. If your home burns down, it affects your neighbors, it affects the property taxes. So it really is a community effort to remind everyone to be safe, to make some good decisions and some good safety choices that month, and hopefully that carries on in the future as well. So that's the overall goal.
Mm-hmm. And to interact with people. I mean, the firefighter I was talking to is like, I don't see people at their best. I see them in a crisis. And this is a chance for you guys to interact with the public, for the public to see what you do, but when they're not in a crisis, when they're not in need, in that proactive planning, safety kind of way.
Exactly.
That's very important also for children, especially because as adults, we understand that if an emergency situation is happening, what we kind of have an expectation in our mind of what that's going to be like, or that people will be around us helping us. When you're a child and you're much younger and that's your first experience with a firefighter or a medic, that can potentially lead to a negative impression. So we
I didn't think about that. And firefighters come in with all this gear. They don't look like people.
No.
You know, they're all covered up.
Yeah.
It's scary for a kid.
Right. So this is one of those great opportunities, especially if you're a parent with younger children, to come and meet firefighters before an accident or an emergency occurs. So it's less intimidating if one was to occur.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you at the 5 Alarm Chili Festival on October 7th in a new location, rain or shine. Thanks for watching.